Bichara Supply Chain, highlighting and showcasing solutions for the most complex challenges facing the industry in 21st century by our team of subject matter experts and mentors. Broadcasting every week, all year round, we will present the most up-to-date series of podcasts and webinars.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bichara Supply Chain. This is Nur Hadi, your host. Today's topic is supply chain professionals meeting top C-suite priorities. And it's my pleasure to introduce you our guest today, Benard Odote. So Benard is an advisory board member at the Center for Citizens, Enterprise and Governance and Birmingham City University for Industrial Revolutions Technological Research Center. He is also the Group Managing Director of House of Procurement Africa, co-founder TTP Foundation, FURSA Africa, and also Africa Buying House. He has over 11 years of experience in procurement, logistics, operation, and supply chain management in industries such as oil and gas, energy, public transportation, manufacturing, service, ICT, and telecommunication. Wow, interesting. So thanks for coming and welcome to Bichara Supply Chain, Benard.
Thank you very much, Nuhadi. How are you?
So before we start in, can you please brief a bit about yourself, your professional background, and what do you do?
Thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity to partner with Bichara and share and learn. And my background, I'm a trained economist and a mathematician. But in my career, I've mainly worked in procurement and supply chain. Worked mostly for the multinationals across Africa and a few chances in Europe and the Middle East. Currently, I am a member of the Birmingham City University Center of Fourth Industrial Revolution Research, which we've partnered with the CCEG. And in CCEG, TTP Foundation is part of that. TTP Foundation is focused on Fourth Industrial Revolution technologies of blockchain, AI, IoT, and the likes, and 5G, on how those can be applied onto supply chains, and especially during this pandemic now, and making our future better. And our first product out of this center is what we call the Coronavirus Clearance Certificate, which is a fast safety blockchain certificate, basically ensuring trust in the supply chain, trust of the people, trust of the processes, trust of the product, trust of the organization, and things like those, and also facilitating frictionless trade among its countries. Thank you.
Awesome. So I wanted to start the question on supply chain's performance, where everyone knows that the success of a company, success of organization really depends on the supply chain's performance. So what is your observation on the current issue where supply chains are facing the COVID-19 with all the complexity, such as the complexity of a demand, then global logistics, manufacturing, sourcing, and so on. So, and then how does it reflect to the company's performance?
I think one of the biggest things that has happened is that we have lost trust. We have lost trust of and in products. We have lost trust in processes, for example, factory safety and factory procedure. We have issues with health risks. We have lost trust in people. You could be my friend, like one of my professor Olinga says, but I don't want to see you now. You could be my colleague, but I don't want to meet you now.
Yeah.
We've lost trust in suppliers' credibilities, financial payments. Lots and lots of large organizations, especially in China now, are looking for advance payments, and now small players, and especially for us in Africa, almost everybody in that context will be considered a small player. Our logistics has been messed up, and we also lost trust in transport and handling. So how safe is my product? Where is it passing? Who is handling it?
Yeah.
And we have also seen issues in cross-border. So countries are having friction in trade. So counterfeit, customs. Can my drive across to your country? Is it tested? Is it not tested? We have an interesting situation in East Africa where countries are saying your drivers are bringing corona to our country. So in terms of impact on the organization, is an impact on the cost. And typically, when this is going to impact the bottom line, the impact on cash, especially on advance payments requirement, is the impact in inventory. Either people now, because of demand, have too much inventory, or they don't have any because they're not receiving it. There's impeded visibility, so you don't know exactly what's happening in supply chain. All you want is to receive your product, so you don't really care much how you receive it. Small suppliers are closing, suffering, cancelled invoices, deferred payments, cancelled contracts. We have issues on quality and counterfeit. Obviously, this is a period where a lot of unscrupulous people take advantage of. And now we have also put in the back burner targets such as ESG, CSR, SDGs, and now we don't want to focus on that. We just want to focus on recovery, accessing our products as quick as we can.
Awesome. So other things I would like to ask is, what advice can you offer to the supply chain professional, especially for those in the top C-level position, in improving the supply chain's performance?
One of the biggest problems we have as supply chain is the majority of us did not sign up to change businesses. We have not signed up to impact the community, impact our bottom line, impact our profit and sales. We just manage the process. We focus on compliance, and this must change now, because now, apart from the word COVID or Corona, the other most spoken word is supply chain in presidents, in CEOs and business owners. Now, my advice to the supply chain people in the C-level is that you must know your numbers. You must know all your numbers. You must know your people, your suppliers, your partners, your stakeholders. You must know all the regulations, and right now they're coming to become very important, the regulation, and they're changing every time. So you must keep up to date with what is changing where, what's not allowed, what's being allowed. You must know your markets and categories on your fingertips and have a wide but relevant network. Most importantly, and this is what we don't do, if you look at the profit and loss and the balance sheet statements, over 70% of those two statements are supply chain. On the left side is supply chain, on the right side is finance. Now, the C-level supply chain people must know the key numbers in the profit and loss and the key numbers of the balance sheet and how they are impacting them now and in the future. And they must present this to the executives and the boards on their contribution to the top line, to the bottom line, to the efficiencies, to conservation and generation of cash. And this must be on the fingertips. And more importantly, you must be the problem solver and you must be the idea initiator at the same time.
Great. So another question I would like to ask is about the priority and quick win. So can you please tell us a quick win that everyone can take as a top priority for winning a current supply chain competitions? You may share the experience when you help a client in the past, such as improving the effectiveness of supply chain and also the procurement spend.
So there are many opportunities now, and in many players, majority of players are small players. So opportunities like group buying, joining group buying organizations such as our African Buying House and others that exist around the world will give you the access to also be a small player who can carry a big stick and access better terms in payment, in contracts, in cost. Very other key thing to do right now is market intelligence. You really must know your entire category and whatever is changing and who else is doing what and what are the price levels at your fingertip, at least your top categories. And that brings us to spend analytics. So most people in the supply chain, maybe only less than 30%, have their proper spend analytics drilled down into the category, into the supplier, into the region, and whatever metrics you want to use. But that is the powerhouse that gives you insight and the data to make a decision. You must look at your networks and see if they are working. Do you want to redesign your networks? And one of the things that you also must adopt is a score model or a similar model that you look at your planning, your sourcing, your make, your move, logistics and return carefully again and see how that is aligned. And depending on your sector, industry, you adapt that to the relevance. and create what I call one business, one plan, one supply chain. And this one we do very well, and we have a platform for this. And to quickly focus on the key spend areas of like procurement, which could be 30 to 60% of your revenue, transport, which could be 10 to 15%, warehousing, operations, again depending on the organization or the industry you are, and please don't forget inventory. Lack of it or too much of it is 1-to-1 to money, and sometimes it's over 20% of actually the total cost of ownership. So for me, quick wins here would be market intelligence and spend analytics combined could get you gold immediately.
Yeah, awesome. So what are the other key takeaways you may have before we close today's conversation, Benard?
I think key takeaways for this is that trust has been broken in the supply chain, so trust must be restored. But more so, I think the businesses and the countries and communities must gain trust in supply chain professionals, that we can solve their problems, that we can save lives and save livelihoods, that we can unplug leakages that before we let go away, that we can conserve and generate cash, we can assure them of their health and safety, and we can restore trust across our supply chain tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and enhance collaboration, network more, work within Indonesia, work with me in Africa, work with someone in Australia, someone in Canada and China, and create solutions and systems together and ideas that will get us out of this now and make us better prepared for anything of this nature in the future or any other disruption. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So thanks again, Benard, for today's discussion. I look forward to connect you with another time.
Thank you very much, Nur Hadi. Much appreciated. Reach out anytime.
At Bichara Supply Chain, we are committed to driving global perspective to embrace technological adaptation in improving process efficiencies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Bichara Supply Chain. And stay tuned for the latest updates. To learn more, visit our website www.bicharasupplychain.com. Thank you for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode.